Hi everyone, Celine here coming in from Melbourne Wellbeing Group. Just wanted to touch base and say hi and follow up from our vlog last week where we talked about stress management using the stress bucket analogy. And I wanted to follow up this week because we've been getting several inquiries about what actually we need to do in order to reduce our levels of stress in a helpful way. A lot of people were talking about how they might have been engaging in really unhelpful behaviors to reduce stress, like sitting in front of the TV, eating a bowl of peppermint ice cream, or over exercising, or not shutting down and not talking to people in order to help them. And not connecting with others, so withdrawing essentially. Other people talked about how they did notice that they were super irritable around people or getting angry a lot. And other people also too talked about how, sometimes they did reach for that packet of cigarettes or that extra glass of wine or whatever it was that they found helpful. And knowing that in the long run these are unhelpful behaviors, a lot of people came to us and said, what is it that I can do in order to help reduce these unhelpful behaviors, in order to keep managing my stress? And so we thought it might be useful to follow up from last week and just talk a little bit about what some of those things can be. The beauty about the stress bucket analogy though, and checking in with yourself sporadically throughout the day, is that you actually don't need to do too much or anything massive to reduce your stress levels if you are using the self-monitoring tool, because the idea is to pick it up early enough so that we actually don't have to do too much, so that we can keep going, that we don't overflow and reach for that packet of cigarettes or reach for the extra glass of wine or spend an extra half an hour trawling through Instagram or playing Candy Crush or whatever the latest game is these days. So if we just cast our mind back to the previous vlog, and if you didn't have time to catch it, then you can. It's on our Facebook page, as well as we'll be putting it up on our website too, so you can head over there and check it out. Just as a refresh, basically what the stress bucket analogy was a self-monitoring tool and technique to encourage you to check in with yourself throughout the day to just ascertain where your levels of stress are in that moment. And so if you're checking in with yourself and noticing where your levels of stress are, if they are greater than or equal to 5 out of 10, 10 being boiling point or overflowing, then the idea is to intervene. If it's below 5, then you can keep going, so that's good. The reason why 5 is chosen, it's arbitrary, but really, if you think about it, 5 is considered helpful by a lot of my clients, because if you're already halfway, it doesn't take much to get to a 7 or an 8, and then it's a lot harder to reduce your stress levels, and also you have to do a lot more in order to reduce that. So if you are noticing that your stress levels are fairly high, then if you're at work, then it might be that you might have to make an effort to take that lunch break. Work will always be there. Work is never going to run away. No matter what you do, it's always going to be there. But if we take your actual lunch break throughout the day rather than working through lunch or eating at your desk, even by manner of getting up, going for a short walk, grabbing your lunch, or even heading out and grabbing a cup of coffee, that break in your day is enough to at least reduce it by 1 or 2 points so you can keep going. Another helpful tool can be doing something like taking yourself for a brisk walk, or actually standing up and doing some stretches, or connecting with someone that you trust and care about if it's something that is a bigger issue that you need to talk about. Scheduling regular exercise, but not so much so that it's becoming a chore, and that you're relying on it to the point where it then becomes unhealthy and unhelpful. So there are several things that we can do in order to reduce our stress. It really just needs to be in moderation, like anything else, and it doesn't need to be a big thing. It could be anything that works for you. You can spend 10 or 15 minutes playing your favorite game, but if we're spending hours on there, then obviously that's not helpful. And if that's what it takes to help reduce your stress levels by a couple of points so you can keep going, then so be it. Other things that are more formal that people find really helpful are doing things like mindful meditations through really cool apps like Smiling Mind or Stop, Breathe and Think. There are kids versions of those apps too if you are noticing that your children might benefit from that. And the great thing about those is that you can only spend a short amount of time, a few minutes at a time, to help do that. Other things that might be helpful is to actually stop and smell the roses, so to speak. So if you are walking from your car or the train station or the tram to work or school or wherever it might be that you're going, then make sure to slow your pace down when you're walking and actually take a look around you. What are some things that you can see? What are some things that you can hear? What can you smell around you? What's the temperature like? And sometimes when we get back in touch with our surroundings, we pull ourselves out of our mind and we pull ourselves into the here and now. And when we do that, we're grounding ourselves essentially. And when we do that, we are at the same time slightly reducing our levels of stress. So that's another suggestion. Other suggestions can be things like listening to your favorite tunes when you're in the car, whether it's angry music or upbeat music or whatever it is, making to-do lists, getting things down on paper so you're not feeling stressed and overwhelmed, scheduling, organizing, using a diary, doing all those sorts of things which we all know. And to be honest, including myself, we can all be slack with every now and then, but it's just a matter of recognizing that we've dropped the ball in an area and picking ourselves back up again. Other things are getting a good sleep routine, eating regular meals throughout the day, drinking plenty of water, and again, these are things we know we need to stay on top of in order to really look after ourselves. And at the end of the day, in our busy lifestyles, my biggest piece of advice would be choose one or two things that are your non-negotiables, one or two things that you find that you really need to be able to do in order to keep going, and make sure that you protect that and make sure that you are able to put that into practice, as well as using this self-monitoring technique of the stress bucket and allowing yourself to check in throughout the day so that you can stay on top of your stress levels and at the same time take on more throughout your day, so you're thinking a lot clearer. So it's a very quick vlog today, but hopefully you find it really helpful, and the short message of all of it is helpful behaviors in moderation and using the stress bucket to allow you to preempt the bigger more overwhelming feelings by putting smaller things into practice earlier. Thanks for listening, and again, feel free to leave us some comments below, and we will hopefully come back with some more. And if you have any topic suggestions that you'd like us to cover, please let us know. And it was wonderful hearing your feedback last time, so thank you for it, and we'll make sure to respond and respond to those requests as much as we can. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll touch base soon. See you.